Hello again and happy and blessed Monday, September the 10th, 2018 from Metro Manila, the Philippines, Southeastern Asia. I keep following news of the older, or well, maybe younger of the two old continents. Asia actually, as far as the organized civilizations are concerned, is an older continent than Europe. But anyway, in yesterday's national parliamentary elections in Sweden, the two blocs of mainstream parties, the ruling red-green bloc and the opposition center-right Alliance for Sweden, according to almost complete results in Sweden proper, without yet counting the expatriate Swedish citizens' votes, came to be virtually even. According to those results, the main ruling party, Social Democrats, received 28.4% of the vote and 101 seats out of 349. Its coalition partner, the Greens, received only 4.3% of the vote and 15 seats. The left party, made up of left-wing socialists and former communists, received 7.9% of the vote and 28 seats, while on the Alliance for Sweden side, the center-right moderates received 19.8% of the vote and 70 seats. The originally agrarian centrists received 8.6% of the vote and 31 seats. The center-right Christian Democrats received 6.4% of the vote and 23 seats, while the Liberals received 5.5% of the vote and 19 seats. The remaining 62 seats, according to these slightly incomplete results, would be going to the right-wing populist, national conservative, strongly Eurosceptic, strongly anti-Islam and largely anti-immigration Sweden Democrats, who, according to these results, received 17.6% of the vote and, as I said, preliminarily 62 seats. However, since the expatriate Swedish citizens' votes remain yet to be counted, and since two electoral districts' votes in Stockholm, the Swedish capital, are yet incomplete, the results could still change a few seats here or there. But anyway, the main picture is clear now. Neither one of the two traditional blocks of mainstream Swedish political parties is strong enough to form a coalition by itself. Theoretically, there could be at least an informal coalition consisting of the Social Democrats, the moderates, and centrists, which would then have, according to these slightly incomplete results, 202 seats out of 349. Alternatively, the Social Democrats could get a so-called supply and confidence deal, that is, agreement to support it or support them, their minority government, on questions of the budget and parliamentary confidence from the Greens, the left party, and then possibly the centrists. But even that one would, according to these nearly complete results, only give the red-green bloc 175 seats, or the narrowest possible minority. Since anyway both the Social Democrats and the moderates lost votes and seats, and then the big gainers were, as expected, the Sweden Democrats, and smaller gains were made by the centrists, the left, the Christian Democrats, and even, according to these preliminary results, very narrowly the Liberals. These 5 small parties could well hold some kind of balance of power, although theoretically the Sweden Democrats would. However, since the 7 other parliamentary parties in Sweden have refused until now to cooperate with the Sweden Democrats, it is likely that they will work out some kind of deal, parliamentary support deal, even from the opposition benches, that will keep the Sweden Democrats out of power. Of course, should the Sweden Democrats become the largest single party in Sweden after the next parliamentary elections scheduled for September 2022, then it would at least have to be given a chance to try to form a new government. However, it is possible that the Sweden Democrats will sooner or later have splits like many of these similar populist parties and movements have had sooner or later. Or should they take power and then they would be unable to fulfill their promises of instituting a new, apparently incorruptible or almost incorruptible political culture and creating many jobs quickly and solving those complex socio-economic, inter-ethnic, interracial integration problems, they might well implode to some extent. In the neighboring Finland, where I'm from, there was a split right down the middle of even the parliamentary group, although 1 or 2 defectors have since returned to the old main party of the so-called true Finns, who in ideology are at least somewhat similar to the Sweden Democrats, when in June 2016 the strongly Eurosceptic member of the European Parliament, Mr. Jussi Halla-aho, was chosen as the new party leader. The defectors labeled their party at first the New Alternative and later officially the Blue Future. And according to the opinion polls, it struggles between 1 and 2% of the vote, which would give it probably no more than a couple of seats in the next Finnish parliamentary election scheduled for April 2019. Anyway, it is unlikely for a new government to be formed before, even according to the fastest schedule, before the first week of October. And given the inconclusive election results, it may well drag on at least until November, if not even December, unless these 7 mainstream parties are able to work out a deal that will guarantee, at least for the first couple of years, maybe for 3 or the entire 4-year parliamentary term, a stable government, minority government supported by some or several opposition parties, and keep the National Conservative Sweden Democrats out of power. Bye-bye for the time being.